Hello, this is Professor Shore, and this is a brief video that shows you how to go from a Flowgorithm flowchart diagram to an actual set of working code. In this case, I'm going to show this diagram, which is very short. It's just an example. But what we'll do is convert this to C++, and then we'll also try out Python. So this is our main normal tipping calculator. So what we're going to do first is run it. And let me go ahead and get this back into view. So we're going to just set up an arbitrary amount for this bill of $45. And then it calculates the tax, the tip, and then tells you how much the total is going to be. Now, notice this is very simple. It doesn't take into account tax or anything else. So let me put this back in view. One of the nice things that Flowgorithm has, in addition to its normal flowcharting capabilities, is it has a source code viewer that allows you, the developer, to decide what you want to view this this code in. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and choose C++. And here's my C++ code for this. And then it also has a very convenient copy of the whole thing to clipboard. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And again, I'm going to move this back. And I've already got Visual Studio, not Visual Code, by the way, Visual Studio already set and running. And I'm going to go ahead and use Create a New Project. And my particular install of Visual Studio is pretty well loaded up. I do a lot of development, so this is what this is set up for. So I'm going to choose the language C++. We're going to run this as a console app. Again, the Flowgorithm just sets it up for basically a console type application. So once I select that, I'm going to give it a name tip calculator. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in my cloud storage. And create a new folder. Tip. And I'll go ahead and create. Now, what Visual Studio does is it'll create a standard templated application, but you can see it's just a hello world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all the code that it generates by itself, and then I'm going to delete that, and then I'm going to paste in the code that Flowgorithm decided to put in. Notice that it's already got these items at the top, which are include files for all the various functionality. It's included a standard namespace. It's got a main function, which is needed in every C++ program. It's got some auxiliary functions built into it. From here, we can simply click on the local Windows debugger and execute this code to see how it's going to work. Usually the C++ is pretty clean when it brings that across. So there was no errors or problems with the code. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the same amount as I did before, 45. And notice it gives me the same results. It even stops for us. It didn't used to do this, but when you run consoles now, it automatically stays open. And you used to have to add code to make that not do that. So again, using debug has this sort of privilege, if you will. Okay, so that is a real quick show of how to actually get the code generated by Flowgorithm in C++. Let's try the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and close this project, and it'll take me back to here to the create new project. But what I'm going to do is go to Flowgorithm, and what I want to do this time is look at the source code viewer. And this time I'm going to create a Python. Notice the code is substantially smaller in scope. So let's go ahead and copy that. And then I'm going to go back to create a new project, change the language, Python, and we'll just use this default application so we can create a command line application. And we're going to do, I'm going to call it PyTip, and it's already we're going to go back to using our OneDrive again. Create. Notice they don't do a hello world with the Python, so I'm going to go ahead and just put that into our code space, our file, and I'm just going to click start. And it's going to ask me for the bill. And there we go. It tells us how much the bill is going to be with tax and tip. So it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy to use. Again, this is not meant to be a to Z, everything in between demonstration, but it shows you how to use some of the features in the Flowgorithm to actually generate some working code and test it out. It gives you a chance in a very simple way to get familiar with both applications. I hope this has been helpful, and this has been Professor Shore, now teaching at Wake Tech.